Unchurned is presented by UpdateAI.
The number one rule of the road for any customer success team is always the same. This doesn't change from team to team. The customers need to feel.
Wait. We want to guess. Hold on. John, guess. What is Amy going to say? What is going to say? What's the number one rule for every CS team?
The customer always lies to you. What?
Okay, we see what type of mood John is in on this Monday, folks.
Yeah, what about you, Josh? What's your guess?
Well, I'm just going to bolt onto you in the opposite direction. The customer is always right.
Blah.
Yeah, vomit. Yeah. Okay, Amy, what is it?
It's the customer's.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Unchurned. I'm Josh Schachter. I have with me Jon Johnson, and we are very honored to have a distinguished guest with us today, Amy Oilman. Amy is the Senior Vice President of Customer Success at Conversica. She's also a coach, and she's going to talk about some really cool topics that she actually presented to a group of customer success leaders and CCOs back a few months ago. It is about how to really hire, grow, keep, maintain, evolve the best CS team ever. So I'm looking forward to getting into that conversation with Amy. Amy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
So let's start. A little bit about yourself, get some context up front, then we can jump into some of the agenda, as it were, of talking about how to get the best teams. Tell us a little bit about, where you came from in the CS world and what you're up to now with Conversica.
Amazing. Well, thanks again. I've been all around the CS world. I started as a Salesforce customer when I was at Google back in 2010, and I had these amazing customer success folks from the Salesforce side that worked with me. And one day they said to me, Amy, you work for the wrong company. And we think you should join us over here at Salesforce. Salesforce is your product. Google isn't your product. So we were at Dreamforce one year and caught up in the emotion of all of that. I agreed to come over to Salesforce, and it was amazing. Salesforce is one of the first customer success companies. I learned so much from the amazing folks there. Got to work with incredible media and entertainment customers in the enterprise space, and went over to Alliances to work in media and entertainment. So it was an incredible journey. And then I went back to Google because they were starting a customer success organization. And so I helped hire some of the 300 customer success folks in Google Cloud, and had this amazing and incredible leadership over there. And just learning, how do you do customer success for a consumption business versus a seat business? So it's been a great opportunity to get to do those things, working with brilliant people, getting to partner across partnerships and marketing and sales and product has been great. And then most recently, I've been at Conversica the past a little over a year, and we are a conversational AI company. And so just getting to work with all this incredible technology and just the close relationships we have. And in customer success, we have the standard customer success teams, the CSM teams, but also support and professional services. So it's a really fun ride that we're on right now.
Well, and what's the, you mentioned a little bit about the teams that you have in your purview. How many people do you have that work for you at Conversica?
I think we're at 26 on my team.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah. So, and we have offshore and employees as well.
Got it. Before we go into what you presented to this group before, and, from late 2024, let's talk a little bit about 2025. We're just getting the year into high gear. What are your top two priorities right now?
Well, like everyone, we're a revenue team. So the things I care most about is retaining customers and expanding customers. And we're running a bunch of campaigns into our install base that are CS led with marketing support. So really excited about that. And then, like every CS leader right now, we're fighting the churn monster. So just making sure that our customers have the best experience and that they want to renew.
Have you named your churn monster? Have you personified it?
No, but that's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
What do you think I should name it, Josh?
John's better for this one.
You always put me on the spot in like the least awesome ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got nothing for you, Amy.
Okay. Let's just call it
I
Jon
might have
Johnson.
to name it Marlo after my dog. And she is the director of churn management at our house. And she's a puppy golden retriever. And so, maybe she's kind of a monster. So it might be a good task for her, and we'll name the churn monster after her.
There we go.
Okay. You're going to talk to us about the title of the presentation you gave. This is at CS 100, again, a couple of months ago. The Success Squad, build, hire, and grow your best CS team ever. So you gave us your background, and I know that you're diving deeper and deeper into coaching as well in what you do. So tell us a little bit, like where do we start? We want to learn. We want to learn how to build, grow, and hire the best, or hire, build, and grow, or whatever, the best CS team ever. So where do we start?
Yeah. So the history of the Success Squad is what I call my team at Google. Just an amazing bunch of CSMs, 30 years experience, some of them. So a very senior team. And it was one of the best teams I've ever led. And I reflected back on that when we did our reorg, and I was like, what about this team was so special and so amazing? And what is it that I can take from this team and bring it to future teams and future CS leaders so that they can build their own success squad? Because when things are going well and things are humming, it's definitely a benefit to the customers, to the company, and to the people on the team, and they feel really supported. So I started with that, and someone asked me, what is your philosophy on how you run teams at Google, when I got a new manager that was transferring from another team? And I really took a long time to think about it. And that's how I started putting these ideas down in paper. And I was lucky enough that Christy reached out to me to present this at CS 100, and Dave.
Yeah. So tell us, like, what's the magic sauce there? Where do we go from here?
Yeah. So I always try to break things down in threes. So definitely, to build your customer success team, you really have to start like you start any team with a vision of what you want your team to be. And then what that translates into values. We have a lot of values that we take from both our corporate values, but also how that applies to the CS team. And that I call the rules of the road. The rules of the road is something that I started at Google. It was initially called a manifesto, but I've learned from people that the word manifesto is not received so well.
Doesn't have the best context.
Yeah, really. Definitely. So so I adjusted and we call it the rules of the road. And at every team I've led since that time, we have a rules of the road document. It's presented every quarter to the team. We give awards around the rules of the road for people that exhibit those qualities in CS every month. And it's just a way for us to pull together and share common values. But to also, when you have a list of like, these are the 20 or 10 values we have for our company, it's really hard to take that and put that into action. So the rules of the road are ideas that we have. And it starts with the customers.
Yeah. Vision, values, rules of the road.
Yeah. So some of the specific rules of the road, just to go a little deeper, because, it's important to kind of like understand that the number one rule of the road for any customer success team is always the same. This doesn't change from team to team. The customers need to feel.
Wait. We want to guess. Hold on. John, guess. What is Amy going to say? What is going to say? What's the number one rule for every CS team?
The customer always lies to you. What?
Okay, we see what type of mood John is in on this Monday, folks.
What about you, Josh? What's your guess?
Well, I'm just going to bolt onto you in the opposite direction. The customer is always right.
Blah.
Yeah, vomit. Yeah. Okay, Amy, what is it?
It's the customers need to feel the love. And whether they're right, whether they're untruthful, or outright liars, John, the customers really need to feel like we care about their business and we care about the things that, make them successful. And I think when we start thinking about the customers in that context, it's not just like, are you consuming? Are you going to renew? Are you going to, it's more about what the customers need to accomplish to be successful in their jobs. And so, we used to use the term customer empathy a lot, I think, in customer success. And now that we've gone to a revenue model, we don't hear that phrase as much. But at the same time, like, they're not mutually exclusive, right? Growing the customer and customer empathy often go hand in hand. And so just making sure that we feel that way as a CS org is really important. And when they are making the wrong decisions, or maybe not the decisions we would make, it's important for us to say to them, here's, to challenge them on that in a way that really helps them and shows them the path forward. So that's really important. Are you interested in hearing some more of the rules of the road?
Absolutely.
Hey, everybody, it's Josh. I'm taking a quick break from the podcast to tell you a bit about UpdateAI. I started UpdateAI to solve two major challenges for CS teams. The first is that we save CSMs 4 to 5 hours per week with our productivity through AI. Secondly, we give leaders a window into all the conversations across each account and the entire portfolio. So we help knowledge transfer, we help increase the coverage model of your CS teams, and we help you detect emerging patterns in what your customers are telling your CSMs across all the risks, product feedback, advocacy moments, and expansion opportunities. So come check us out at www.updateai. It's completely free to sign up and trial.
Are you interested in hearing some more of the rules of the road?
Absolutely.
I'm good. I'm just joking. I'm joking. Yes, of course. Tell us more. Preach.
All right. So we share in the success is like a really important one because we work not just with customers, but we work internally. I feel like we once draw a diagram at Salesforce and all the teams that CSMs work with, and it was like literally 40, 50 teams across a big enterprise organization like that. So we want to make sure that we share in the success, especially, there's a lot of talk about how CS works with product and marketing and sales. And so we wanted our CSMs to understand that it's not just about working with the customer as their role. It's also just as important to make sure that we're looking out for the rest of the teams and that we're collaborating effectively and impactfully.
How are you doing that at Conversica right now? That's a different organization to do that at than doing it at Salesforce, right?
Yeah. I work really closely hand in hand with my sales leader, Jeff. He's amazing. On our teams, we work through a lot of like expansions together and roles and responsibilities and things like that. But ultimately, our teams are partnered up with these customers, and it's really important for them to be understanding about who does what and to be really clear on where the roles lie. So it doesn't feel like at some companies I've worked at, it feels like the CS team works for the sales team. And we know that isn't sustainable.
Yeah, we know that. Okay. We want to hear more. Tell us more. What are some other rules of the road?
Come with a point of view.
I really like this one. This is good.
You're good at that one,
yeah.
John. That's a compliment.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants people to sit in meetings and not say anything. That's not a good use of anyone's time. And
actually, I would love that. I would love that.
Every CEO actually probably feels the opposite.
But yes, point taken. Understood the vision of what you were saying.
Yeah. And aligned to that is how we show up matters. I think if you don't have to know everything, but if you show up prepared, you understand the customer's metrics, you understand the customer's business. I mean, it's a lot easier for the CSMs to be successful in our TAMs as well, like on the professional services side. And so, if we show up positively, it sounds kind of like a little, I don't know, maybe not as deep as some people would like to say, but it really makes a difference when the customers feel like you care and when your teammates feel like you care, and how you show up to those meetings is so, so important.
So I actually thought you were going to go in a different direction there. I thought you were saying how you show up matters, like do your homework, do your prep work, understand the metrics, understand what's going on in the news about your customer, et cetera. You actually took a slant that was more like show up with a smile on your face and positive energy and a good spirit and rapport. I assume the answer is like it's a little bit of both, but what do you have specific rules around that for Conversica, or is it just hey, show up prepared and with a smile?
Yeah, camera's on.
Camera, okay.
There's nothing worse than presenting to a room of like still photos. Like that's one of our values on our team. So
internally or just for external? We're talking just external calls here.
Both.
Both.
Yeah, it's really important. I think some companies have cameras on, cameras off policies, and like sometimes we'll do like a face-free Friday where you just keep your camera off on internal meetings on Fridays, but I do think it's important to be engaged with the people that are presenting and the people that are talking, whether it's internal or external. It's a little old school, but I think that it's impactful and important to do that. And I do think, to your point on like knowing the metrics, we kind of encompass that in the previous show up with a point of view based on the metrics, but there are very tightly aligned. So thank you for pointing that out, Josh.
How do you you're walking through a lot of these are great actionable insights when it comes to kind of building out these teams. But when you're in the interview process, or when you're kind of looking at the candidates that you have or the people that you're looking at, how do you find the people that have a point of view, and what are the processes that you go through to discover what that looks like so that it's a known skill and not something that needs to be trained?
That's a great question. So during our interview process, we have certain characteristics that we look for in people that are aligned to the rules of the road, like our values. And so for each of those values, we have questions that are aligned to it. And then each of the managers on my team that reports into me, they have certain questions that they cover certain topics so that we're not repeating questions when we interview candidates. In terms of your question about like when we're looking at resumes, sometimes I look for keywords in their resumes. Like we found one of our managers supports his wife's business and, is just very, he put that on his resume. And I was like, well, that's an interesting extracurricular fact. But at the same time, it shows that he's supportive of the people in his personal life. And like, to me, that was meaningful and stood out. So we do vet it through the interview process, but when we don't have a recruiter, because we're such a small company, so it's not like at Google where we had an army of recruiters, we're hiring 300 people. So as a leader, we have to go through these resumes. So we do look for certain things like that tell us that these folks share our values.
Amazing. Love that. What's next? Is that all the rules? Did we go through all of them?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, on this team, we try to keep it to 7 or 8 rules. So we also have make this the best team in the universe. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, very straightforward. Make this the best team in the universe.
Yeah. Imagine the best, like close your eyes and like envision the best team you've ever worked with. And what are the things you can take from that team into your current team?
John, let's do it. I'm closing my eyes. Are you closing your eyes?
Okay, I'm closing my eyes.
Okay, I'm going to close my eyes too.
Okay, all right.
Josh, you go first.
No, I like to put you on the spot.
You always do. I'm putting you on the spot.
The best team I've ever worked with?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, it's my current team. That's the answer I should give.
All
but
the
that's
people
also
that are listening.
That's all the people that are listening. Yeah. No, is that the best team I've ever worked with? I think so. Because, and you want to know why, Amy? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, because half of us were working together yesterday on Sunday, and I was so proud that my startup team was working on a Sunday. It's just
I would put that in the worst,
which is such a terrible thing to say. Yeah.
But how did that make you feel?
Like a proud
know
papa.
That your team was supporting you on a Sunday.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. It was like the team. What I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek here. John knows, the listeners may know, but the important part was like that there was ownership. Yeah. That there was ownership, that people were, or people are, because this is present tense. People are owning what they need to own. They're being proactive. I didn't ask them to work yesterday. We're filming this on Monday, so yesterday. And they were collaborating together. Like, those are some of the attributes that I find really wonderful about my team. And also, I mean, listen, we've had iterations, I'll say, on the team since we started 4 years ago. And we've gotten to a place right now where culturally it's a nice hum. Like, everybody can be very open and honest and feel safe, but also, jocular at the right times. So relationship wise, everybody gets along, which I think for me is very important.
Yeah, I was thinking through this, and ownership is definitely like one of the attributes that I really look for when I close my eyes and thought about my perfect team. I thought about one of my first CS teams that I worked on at a startup called Invoca. There was a lot of great stuff about that. aside from just like a growing industry and a growing market and lots of lots of investment, lots of fun times like that. One of my favorite things that we did, it was an in-person job. I know that's foreign to a lot of people these days. But every morning we would have our daily stand-up with not just the CSMs, but our solution consultants and our AEs. And it felt a little bit like summer camp. We just kind of go around the room about what we were working on, and it would take 30 minutes out of every day. And there was just a lot of exchanging and sharing of ideas. It was less, I'm complaining about what I'm working on, but it's like, this is the customer that I have this product update or ticket that I need to submit. And everybody would be like, oh, that, I'll jump in on that too. And it added that collaboration in real time versus, sending out an email and asking for people, hey, does anybody else have a customer with this use case? It was very, very conversational. And I think that it built a lot of trust and a lot of good energy with the team, so that when there was friction or if there was something that was difficult, there was always a place to kind of work through it. And the practice of everybody has a voice, everybody has opinions, and everybody kind of has an opportunity to share an opinion. It's something that I would love to duplicate if we could ever have everybody in the same space again.
Yeah, being remote is a challenge. I will say, every time I hear leaders talk about their ideal teams, it's amazing because your face and your body language changes and your voice changes. And it's like one of my favorite things to talk about.
Yeah, that and ice cream for me, little bit of the same. So you gave this presentation at CS100, got a lot of really great feedback. What is something that you took away from the group, from the panel discussion, or from the folks that attended that reached out to you afterwards? Was there a lot of validation? Was there a lot of questions and answers? How was kind of the reception from the folks that you presented this to?
Yeah, so I'll paint the picture of, we had a massive power outage.
Yes.
And I presented in the dark using my phone to scroll through the slides while they had a truck back up, so that the people in the first 5 rows, they did an amazing job of getting that all together. So
we weren't sure whose presentation that happened to, but Christy did let us know that there was some fireworks.
Yeah, and her and Dave were so incredibly generous about, making us feel like, yeah, we could do this. So it was very intimate because it was very dark. And most people couldn't use their phones because of the outage. Yeah. So people were really paying attention. And it was an incredible moment for me. It was one of my top moments of last year. So to answer your question though, about, what some of the folks and I talked about, we all talked about these ideal teams, and as leaders, our responsibility to forming these teams and making the people on our teams feel valued, but also helping coach them and helping them get to the next level in their careers. So that was a huge takeaway. And my other takeaway is, oh my gosh, the other speakers, just so brilliant. We've all stayed in touch. We've been going back and forth. I referred some people for some projects. I learned so much. If you can imagine how much you would learn in 2 to 3 days, this was just amazing. I still go back to my notes and look at the presentations of the other speakers. It was definitely an amazing event. And I hope everybody goes this year.
So I want to go back one half step here with kind of the last piece of the best team, which is also about making the best self of yourself and your own growth. And
good English, Josh.
Yes, the best self of yourself. So you talked a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about growing your personal brand, how folks can go about that, and their executive presence as well.
Yeah, so I've done personal branding training for all my CS teams for the past 5 years. I started as doing a 20% extra thing. One of the cool things about Google is that you, as a leader, you can go and deliver trainings throughout Google. They give you the video, they give you the curriculum, and then you can host them. So one year I was I should do this for my team so I can improve my speaking, and also it will help teams. And then you basically get signed up to deliver this. Other managers can reach out to you and have you do these trainings for their teams. So I've gotten to present personal branding a ton when I was at Google to women's groups and to the CS org. I did a group of like these amazing admin assistants. And effectively, creating your personal brand is somewhat of a formula of saying, what are your values and what are your skills, and how do you bring that to life in your work?
Yeah. Well, so so what's the formula? It's your values plus skills equals like, go one step deeper.
Yeah. So when we go through this, we go through exercises to elucidate what are the things people say about you? What are the things that you care deeply about in your values? And there's a whole list of them, and it's multiple choice, but you can only pick 5. And so it's like this really tough decision about like, what are my top 5 and how do I, and then what are my skills and how do you bring that? What are you known for? And so you can string that together without doing the whole workshop here. You string that together in a sentence. We have kind of like an easy fill in the blank Mad Libs thing if you're older. And people are able to create their personal branding statement. But the last part of the training is really critical because it's how do you manage your brand? And for us in CS, I've added another module, which is how do you help your customer manage their brand? Yeah.
That's important. So like goes to like making the customer the hero, right? Make your customer the superhero of their
And what is it they truly want? Like, when I was at Salesforce, it was like, does this customer want to be up on stage at Dreamforce? Does this customer, want to be a reference? Does this customer, want to speak about technical things at, user groups and stuff like that, and looking for opportunities to really shine a light on our customers?
Yeah, that's always very important. Awesome. Well, Amy, this was great. I love the guidance on how we can hire, build, and grow. Did I get the order correctly? Something like that. Build, hire, grow. The optimal CS team. And of course, any team, right? Not just within CS. This applies to anybody. I know you're doing more and more coaching as well, which I think is just got to be like such a fun thing to do, and such a rewarding thing to do as well to help teams grow with your knowledge base. So congratulations on that. And we hope to have you back later in the year, and we'll learn about what's going on with Conversica, and how that churn monster, Marlo.
Marlo, the churn monster.
Yeah. How he or she is doing.
Yeah.
Cool. Amy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.